Macro trend analysis for 2018. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Forex Investors Alliance bringing you another analysis. This one is going to be a macro trend change, or what I believe is going to be a macro trend change on the dollar and all the pairs that are affecting the dollar. So this will affect a lot of pairs. We're just going to be going over some of the main pairs today and what I see and what I've seen in previous structures, from previous events. All right. The past, a lot of the times you can say the past repeats itself, and this is exactly what we can see here. But we're not just betting on that, okay? There's a lot more factors that I'd like to go into and show you guys why I think the euro might be falling. We could catch a trade. This will be a long-term trade though, you guys. This is this will be a 2-3 month trade, possibly for 800 to 1,000 pips, maybe more, maybe less. It could be totally wrong. I could be wrong, all right? But I'm going to show you guys why I believe this could happen. So stay tuned. Be sure to watch the whole video and you'll understand a lot more about the market and the macro trends. So here we can see the US dollar. I've done the exact same thing. These are the exact same boxes. Basically what I've done is mapped out October. I've boxed the low of October and all the work that it has done until the new year. So this was last year, 2017, October to 2017 right here. So we boxed up all that work. We can see literally right when October hits, boom, the dollar is stimulated. It is stimulated, you guys. Why is that? The holidays. Remember, October brings Halloween, and then November, December, January, we're talking about Christmas and New Year's. All right, this is going to be stimulating the economy around the world, not just the US dollar, but around the world. But we're going to be focusing mainly on the US dollar and its connected pairs right now. So, looking at this here, we can see in October, now the boxes they aren't perfect, but we can see, the same thing. It's stimulated. The growth of the dollar takes off. We can see it's for a few months it's in consolidation, and then boom, it stimulates. That's the holidays, you guys. It's Christmas, October here, and then boom, all the way to New Year's. All I'm doing is these little boxes. All right, you guys can do this too. I don't use indicators, you guys. I use my head. I use, what I think, what I see, and then I piece it together. You don't need indicators. This is what I try to, tell you guys in every single video. I try to make that clear. So here's the same thing. October starts right around here, and then the new year. So we can see that stimulation there. October, and then the new year. Stimulation right around October, and then trickles down a little bit. We can see it for years, you guys. The past, how many years? All right, I don't have to keep explaining myself here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I just stopped counting. 9+ years. All right, this could be the 10th year, and this is This would make a lot of sense. Okay, why do I think that? Well, number one, we're talking about the dollar. Okay, where exactly is this little gap? This kind of blew my mind last night. There's a gap here, okay, and this gap was not filled. You can see right here is where that gap is. All right, this the space in between these two, that's the little gap that needs to be filled. All right, right in here, there's a little gap that needs to be filled. There's liquidity in there, you guys. You may not think that it makes any difference, but yes, it makes a world of difference. Gaps they are filled 99% of the time. And I'm not saying they're filled right away, obviously not. We can see this was a few weeks later, months later, but they do fill. And check this out. If the dollar does come up this high, check this out. The Euro US dollar also has a gap. All right, this one is a bit larger too. And that's why I think it could go down all the way down to here, you know. And that's right in here is where the dollar also has its gap, but obviously inverse. And why would this make a lot of sense as well? Well, we're talking about the dollar, like I said, and the gap is at the dollar mark, $1, 100, 99.99, and then 1. You can see it right here, you guys. That's what I'm talking about. Right here. We're at $1. It would hit $1. And then, what would they do? I'm just telling you guys how it's going to be if this happens. Okay, it'll come up, and then around the New Year's or Christmas or the holidays, the news will start talking about how the dollar is back. It's back. It's going to break its highs. It's people, the retail traders will start to see this. All right, if my chart would load. Sorry about that. Well, what the heck? Okay, what they're going to see is that obviously there's a strong uptrend, and I'm talking about when this happens, as it's happening, you guys. The news, once the dollar hits $1 and hits here and fills that gap, that's all they need to do. That's all the dealers need to do. That's all the higher they need to go. And I'm not even saying they'll go this high, you guys. That gap does not need to be filled. Okay? It does not need to be filled yet, but it is probable that it will be filled. Looking at the formation here of the euro and the dollar, we can see a very nice head and shoulders pattern. And I don't recommend you look at head and shoulders patterns yourself unless you know exactly what you're dealing with, because head and shoulders obviously form all the time. Here we can see head and shoulders formed right here, but there wasn't a complete reversal, you know. But we can see here head and shoulders, and then there was that complete reversal. Head and shoulders, and then a complete reversal. Head and shoulders, and then I believe we could get a complete reversal here, and then they'll spike up in here, you guys. This is what I'm talking about. They'll start saying how the dollar is great. Trump's doing great. It's doing great. And I doubt it'll go that high. It'll probably hit like this. Trump's doing great, blah, blah, blah. The news will talk about how he's doing fantastic. The economy's booming. And then what'll happen? Boom. Just like that. Happens every time. History repeats itself over and over, you guys. We can see it here. We can see it here. We can see it here. And this is, I think this is the last day the dollar will be at $1. Or the last year, I should say. After 2018, I don't see the dollar at $1 anymore. It'll be falling after 2018, and it'll be, I do believe it could fall off a cliff, you guys, like majorly. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I don't know why my charts aren't loading. That's kind of strange. But hopefully, yeah, these load. Alright, if the dollar does hit $1, then the euro could come down and fill this gap. We're talking about, from where price is right now, we're talking about 1,000 plus pips. Yeah, about 1,000 pips. In about 65, 70 days maybe. But we can see it's already starting, you guys. What's the catalyst? What is the catalyst besides October and starting of October? Well, the breaking of the trend line here. That's a major catalyst. We can see here this trend line was broken, and then price came down. Trend line breaks right here in October every single time, just about, and then it comes down. And this is the euro, guys, so it's going to be inverse to the dollar, obviously. Trend line breaks in October, right, exactly October. You can see exact, like almost exactly, right in October. And then this was the elections. The elections actually brought it up right up here and trapped a lot of people up there that thought it was price was going to stay up there, you know. Yep, it's going to stay up there. No, it's not. You're trapped. Price falls, and then we can see the new year. Everyone celebrates, the holidays are over, and the dollar comes back. Goes. Euro comes up almost 1,700 pips. But what we are looking at here would just be a retracement for the euro. So the euro would retrace, and if this what the heck just happened? If this gap is filled, I had like a frog in my throat. I'm sorry, you guys. I gotta drink some more orange juice. Okay, that's better. This gap will be filled. Upon this gap being filled, that liquidity will be absorbed, and then that's when the euro can do what it wants, or the dealers can do what they want with the euro. And I believe they're going to skyrocket it. Just like this here, we'll see that spring up. Just like this work, but right here. Anyway, let's move on to, well, actually, what I wanted to show you guys here I talked about the gaps being filled, right? Well, here we can see the euro actually came up to 1.2, 1.20, and just kind of worked that high a little bit. You can see the head and shoulders forming. But why did it hit 1.20 exactly? Why there? Look at this. The gap. There's a gap. Exactly at 1.20, it filled this gap. And it's just a tiny gap, you guys. It's 20 pip gap. Maybe 25 pip gap. But anyway, that needed to be filled. And the liquidity in that gap is what's going to cause, or is what is causing right now this head and shoulders. And we can see the head is in that gap. There's a reason for everything, you guys. Like, everything in the market happens. It's all predetermined. It's all predetermined in advance, you guys. But once you can see what it is, once you can see the market for what it is in the present moment, that's when everything is unlocked. All right. So hopefully this makes sense. If this doesn't make sense, you guys, you should probably go over some of our other videos, to get a better glimpse of what's going on, how I analyze. But anyway, let's go to GBPUSD. Actually, what I wanted to show you guys, Euro US dollar, if this does happen, what I could see happening right here, check this out. This could just be the beginning of a trend, right? Something like that. And then this would be, we would be all the way to this is October again, the 10th, and then 2018 would just repeat the same thing. Look at that. History just repeating itself. Come on. Come on. Yeah, right. Yep. That's exactly it. So, wow. That's incredible. Now that made me think, there's a gap right here. A little gap right here, you guys. So this gap, this may not even be filled. They might keep this gap open like for a really long time, at least for another 2, 3, 4 months until the euro comes back up and fills it. But it is a smaller gap. It could be filled today. It's only like 3 pips, but it is still a gap. So anyway, going back to GBP US dollar. If the dollar is stimulated, we can expect the GBP to go down, right? And that's just a speculation, not, we're just speculating this, you guys. Now let's create our boxes here from the new year. until October. Right beginning October, it starts to crash. Isn't that funny? October, and then coming into 2016, the new year. Brexit. Wow. All right. And this would make sense. You know, this would make a lot of sense that GBPUSD would hit the lows once again, spike the lows, and then come back up, make its way, continue its way back up. And if we draw out possibly a trend line here, we could see that connection happening very, very possible. Until 2019, and then it hits the highs up here, and I believe there's a gap. Yep, the same thing, you guys. Same thing that happened GBPUSD. Excuse me, Euro US dollar. It happened also on GBP US dollar. So here we can see GBPUSD on the daily created that little M, and then there was this, this spike, these spikes into this 1.36 area. 1.36. Why 1.36? Well, 1.36, there's a gap right here, right? And they actually filled that gap, I believe. Here's the gap. Yep. That wick came up and filled the gap. That one wick grabbed all the liquidity in there and then came down. And then we could expect this, you guys, possibly, all right, possibly for even coming into the next year. I didn't really expect to draw out an entire 2018 analysis, but I guess if this had to be my analysis for 2018, I guess this would be it for the GBP US dollar and the Euro US dollar. But I don't know, you guys, tell me what you think. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, leave them below in the comments section. I'd love to reply to you guys. And if you're not yet in forexcommunity.online, be sure to type that into your browser right after watching this video. Forexcommunity.online. You can type it in right in here Click enter, and you will be automatically forwarded to our group. It's a group chat with thousands of traders from all around the world that are trading very similar to how we trade. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. This is Dylan. Peace out.